Hey guys, thanks for listening to Kinda Dating, the comedy dating podcast where influential guests and I break down the dating world and try to figure out why the do we all have commitment issues. Today's topic is introverts, being them and dating them. Let's do this.
Is that what the topic is tonight? Oh, wow. All right. I didn't know that, actually.
You didn't know?
I thought we were talking about like finances and stuff like that.
We are. We're doing both.
Oh, okay.
Way
Well,
to give
here
away
we are.
the second episode.
Oh, sorry. Let's cut that out.
No, we're now going to keep this because this was a fun little intro.
Hell yeah.
People will love that.
Hell
well,
yeah.
friends, you heard a voice.
I'm an introvert.
He just ruined our intro.
But that's the sort of creative style that I do,
That's very extra.
which is
Shit up.
I f it up and then we go from there and then we make it work and then it becomes more interesting.
Love it.
I hope so.
Love it.
We can always start again.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We never start again on
I
this
feel like you
podcast.
get it though. Like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah, totally.
that's a vibe I get
Yeah.
here.
That
yeah.
we're just,
Oh.
You can just go with flow.
yeah.
That's a very introvert quality though.
To go with the flow?
I guess it is. Yeah.
I don't know. I just say things now because the camera's on.
let me lead the podcast.
Let me let you run the podcast.
It's totally okay.
And
And let's start again. No.
no, I love this.
No, I love this. Is
This is
great.
perfect.
This is great. Okay.
This
well,
is
guys,
yeah. Go ahead.
before you even, I'm Natasha Chandel. You're listening to Kinda Dating. If you like what you hear, please screenshot the episode and tag us and tell us what you thought of it, including this fun little intro.
Yes.
I mean, for the people who've been listening, you know, we're pretty structured and Rahul just shit up. So this is great and I love it.
This is very introverted of me to be very awkward.
Is it?
Yeah, I think that's a very introverted quality.
You're giving away the entire episode
Sorry.
off the top.
You haven't even asked me a single question yet. This is the last time I'll ever be asked to be on this podcast.
No, you're welcome back anytime.
Okay. Shall we?
Yeah.
Perfect.
But guys, remember, if you like what you hear, subscribe to the podcast wherever you get it and leave us a 5-star rating or review. We're also on social media, right? We're at Kinda Dating across
Yes.
the board. And Aisha's also here.
Yeah, I'm here, and I'm at Aisha Says Dance across the board.
And I am at Natasha Chandel on Instagram and Facebook and Natasha.Chandel on TikTok. And let me introduce the person who is the man of the hour, who as an introvert just could not.
I couldn't stick the landing.
Yeah.
Do I go now?
Normal? Wait,
This is my-
now I'm going
No.
to give you the actual intro. This is great. This is awesome. I love this.
I promise you have done podcast interviews before.
Are you sure?
I really have. I have.
Uh,
It's the mics that are throwing me off. I don't know where to go.
what podcast have you done without a mic?
No, I just have to adjust.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, our engineer is going to
Sorry.
love you.
It's sorry.
He's
Sorry.
going to love you.
Sorry.
Guys, he's an actor, social influencer. Some know him as a layman investor
Oh, nice.
and a self-described introvert. Can we say
Yeah, I
that?
think so.
Okay, so we have Rahul Rai.
Hey,
We have been wanting you on this podcast for a long time.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. I didn't know
Aisha
that. I didn't know
and-
that either.
Yeah, no, of course. Aisha, myself, we're all fans of yours. And Karina, who's not here, who is sort of our right hand
nice.
on the podcast, she's a big fan. At first, I was like, okay, so we're both Indian. And, and I was like, oh, I wonder if his audience is like primarily Indian. And then these guys loved you. And I was
Yeah.
oh my God, he gets to everybody.
Yeah, I'm trying. I mean, yeah, that's nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't know that I had fans here.
Yes,
That's
full of
very sweet.
surprises. I love this for you.
But yeah, no, I try to make content that's a little more. It's just more of an extension of me, I suppose. So I think consciously, in a way, I have tried to not just be like an Indian creator, because I'm just interested in other things beyond just my own culture. I think that's actually. I have an opinion about it.
Tell me.
I
We like opinions.
I do. I mean, I just think that's an interesting frontier to explore if you're an Indian content creator. But it's hard to do it. It's hard for me to express the opinion without sounding sort of like an asshole. But I just think
No, it's okay. We're assholes. You can
no,
say
I mean I
whatever.
just think it's interesting to go outside the culture to create beyond sort of what
Your identity
Yeah.
is. Yeah, that's fair. It's so funny because I prefer to also ideally not talk about it, but everything
I'm proud
that,
to be Indian. Don't
No,
get me
no,
wrong.
and that's okay.
I'm
No.
proud of my culture.
Nobody's
but
judging you.
but you know, I just
You're
think
allowed
it's
to
interesting.
talk about other things.
Thanks.
But what I'm saying is like I'm somebody who didn't originally want to talk about it, but all the stuff that seems to get hits on my TikTok are that. And my managers are like, you should lean in more. So even as a stand-up, I didn't want to talk about being Indian at first.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
all that's the stuff that people like to hear about because they're so used to white guys just talking about butt jokes. You know what I mean? Fart
Yeah.
jokes and fucking all
But
that.
it must get boring as a creator to do that, no?
Sometimes, yeah. So I don't
That's how I
like,
feel.
I try not to like purposely do it. If I have something to say,
Yeah.
I'll say it. But outside of that, like
Same.
I won't, you know. So in my stand-up, I have a bit that's like an intro that's like, okay, I'm Indian and here's some shit you can know about me.
You have a whole bit
And
about
then
how
I go-
Toronto Indians are different. Canadian Indians are different than American Indians, right?
Yeah.
I see your stuff.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
We're friends.
You do stand up though. I don't know how you do stand up. I think stand up is very scary.
Same.
Stand up is I think stand up and improv is pretty scary. Good for
Have
you.
you done improv?
No, I've never done improv.
Really?
But I do improvise all my stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I would
So-
feel like you'd
Sure.
be a great improviser.
I don't know.
It's the introversion.
It's so as an improviser, I find it hard because and I did improv since I was 7. So like I love improv, but constantly performing with other people and like relying on other people to be as
And other
disciplined
people.
as you are,
Yeah,
to like other people.
yeah. People are just the worst,
It's
man.
hard.
That's not true. I actually think I deeply love people, but I'm just I don't know, sometimes I'm just disappointed by the lack of self-discipline. I believe in people. I really do. I really, really believe in that anything you want is there for the taking. It's just if you have the self-discipline to do it or not, then it's just really up to you.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a lot of discipline. We were just talking about
It's
that
what I was
before
born
we-
and raised on.
Discipline?
Yeah.
Why?
That's
I mean,
like the-
was
it's like
somebody in your
the
family
word
like
of
a
the house.
military family?
No,
Oh.
it's just like it's just the word of the house: discipline and humility. And you have to work for everything. You have to get everything. You have to, you have to like nothing. There's no entitlement here. There's no. I was born into privilege. I'm spoiled. I would like to think that I'm not a brat or that I'm entitled. I think one is a behavior, another is a circumstance. And so I think if you were born into privilege, you should run faster than the people that aren't. Because you got a head start. And when you get a head start in life, you should not relax as much. But it's hard. It's like if you get a head start, you want to relax, but you should do the opposite. That's my philosophy.
That's interesting.
It's true. It is hard though, you know.
It's hard
It's not
because it's self-discipline.
and not just it's the energy also, right? Like it's a lot to constantly keep doing something at the same pace and
Yeah.
same literally energy level as when you first when you first start something, you're like super excited.
Yeah.
And then it's like a relationship 5 years down the line, you stop giving a
Yeah,
shit.
I think all long-term relationships are just inherently super hard. I think I have like intense feelings about the creative like stuff that I do. Like I hate it and I love it. But one thing I am not is indifferent about it. But I hate it. But I love
that.
it. And I use very strong language and my friends are like, dude, I don't know. That sounds very, no, but that to me is like exactly how, I don't know, that's just the most honest. Like if you're really being honest with yourself, I just think that's like how it feels.
Is it the grind?
I just
What is
fucking
it?
hate this,
Yeah.
but I love it because it can be so gratifying.
Mhm.
But it's also like there's nothing, like I think the greatest high is like overcoming like a fear or a challenge and doing it sober. I think that's a huge.
That's hard for you.
Certain things are, I need alcohol there's a bar right behind me
Right
too.
behind you. This was purposeful.
No, but I've learned like even just in like within the creative landscape, if you like in acting class, I experience this all the time. It's like when you do a scene that you're really scared of, and you have no choice but to be vulnerable, and you have no choice but to perform in front of people and do it and fail, but you get through the whole process week after week after week. There's just an incredible high that comes from it, and it's very gratifying. But it takes a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot of it's such it's like you hate it. Like, how do you not hate this?
I mean,
You know what I mean?
describe to me which part you hate.
Right.
Like what?
It's just the thought of doing it.
Yeah, as
It's
in
the
just
idea
like,
of doing it.
I get
It's like
that.
going to the gym. It sucks. And sometimes it's just it's so shitty. It's so shitty.
Sure.
It's so shitty. But you get out of it and you're like, all right, at least I got the reps in.
No, 100%.
I don't feel shitty about myself.
I actually can very much relate to that because I love what we do, and I also relatively hate what we do, and I talk about it a lot. And I think the hardest for me is like, I love when I'm making a video, but getting myself from the process of like getting up and getting
Yeah.
ready to make the video is the
Yeah,
worst.
that's-
And once I'm in it, I love it. And then, but yeah, the before and the after, and then you're kind of on a high. And then I'm
And
like,
then you
what
put
do
it
I
out
do now?
and then it fails, or
Oh,
if it
yeah.
doesn't, if it it's just like, there's also that relationship
Yeah.
which is like the results of the work. They
Right.
all say the process is super important. I really think that's true. I really think the process has to win over. But the results also matter, and they fucking suck when they don't come.
We're going to take this interview back a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, because
talking
I
too
love
much?
that we're
No one's
you're
ever
talking-
told me that I'm talking too much.
No, I actually love that you're talking a lot. But you're not going to skip the most important question that everybody wants to know, and two, that we ask every single guest on this show.
Yeah.
And that question is, are you single or in a relationship?
I was thinking about this question today.
Okay.
I was thinking about this question in the shower today.
Okay.
This is a question. I think there are two questions in life that have always made me very uncomfortable. It is this question, and it is, do you have any friends?
Oh.
And the latter question, I remember being asked that question in middle school. I won't say his name.
No, say his name.
No, I won't say his
No,
name.
we should shame people.
No,
Fuck
no.
that. I'm
No, but
all
that's
about
that's a
names.
recurring question in my life.
Really?
It's very odd.
Hmm.
And I get asked that question by people who I thought or
Your
think
friends?
are my friends, and they are sometimes. But it's just like a weird, traumatic kind of a thing. Not traumatic, but it's just like a recurring theme. The single question is interesting because I'm a very sort of private person. So I'll answer the question. Sure. That's my ambiguous answer.
Nice.
But there's a point to it. I think there's
Sure to which one?
to the single question
Got it.
or the dating question.
Yeah.
Or what was it? Are you dating or are you single?
Basically.
Single or in a relationship?
Sure, whatever.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
Hmm.
But
You're
the-
welcome
but the-
to
but
plead
the-
the fifth. We
but
always
the
tell people that.
ambiguity. I think so what we do is like a public thing. I know this is like a long-winded answer to a very simple question. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
But there's a thought process behind it. Is that I completely forgot it. But the ambiguity, it's like we work in a public sphere.
Yeah.
So to some degree, everything is a form of entertainment.
Yeah.
And I think this is also part of my nature, but I think now that I'm able to sort of voice it, is that in some ways in the public sphere, when you work in the public sphere, I think it's okay to be ambiguous and not be fully transparent and honest, because there's certain things that you need to be able to protect for yourself, that you own for yourself. Now in private, when you are having intimate conversations, when the cameras are off and there's no one recording and that's where I think honesty. And so I'm not against honesty and transparency and answering the questions. It's just that I think that, just bear with me here. I just think it's always a question that's always made me uncomfortable. And I think it's because I never want to be known for my dating life or any sort of I'm not like trying to be controversial and trying to gain attention that way. I would never want to be a content creator that is known for my dating life or just creating noise for the sake of creating noise. I've always wanted to be just a person that's known purely for my work. And this stems from like high school as well. So there's like a lot of stuff I'm unpacking here.
Yeah.
But it's like there is this weird, desperate need I have to completely keep it to myself, which is weird.
It's
because
not weird.
It's a very simple question, and a lot of people don't. But it's like I think that's super important, at least for me, is privacy around my personal, private life, and that doesn't just stretch to my relationships or my romantic life. It also stretches towards like my family life, my nieces, my siblings. They should not that they will, but they should not, their privacy should not be infringed upon because they know somebody that works in the public sphere. Now, I'm not famous and I'm not internationally known like a movie star.
You're famous.
I think movie star fame is very different than social media fame. But there's a potential for that reality to set in. And so as you get more of that, there's negative spillover effects that can affect people in your personal life that I never want to happen for as long as I can control it. I won't have full control over it.
Yeah.
But now I do. But all this stuff lives in perpetuity. So that's why I'm not dodging the question. But there's a level of ambiguity. I know. I'm so sorry. I've hijacked the interview again.
I'm just like we
but
wouldn't
there's
ask
there's
you.
a there's a philosophy.
We
What
would
I'm trying
not
to
have
say.
asked you
No, that's
further.
really fine. But there's a philosophy behind it that I think is actually important.
It's totally fair.
You know what I mean?
You just met my partner.
Yeah.
I never show
Exactly.
on social media. We don't
Yeah.
put anything out there. It's nobody's business. I don't give a fuck because it's nobody's business. I talk about him on the podcast a lot. That's where people, if they know me, will find out something.
Yeah.
Other than that, and I get the same thing. I don't post my family.
Yeah.
I don't post because my brother is very like, he actually doesn't want to be associated with me.
Yeah,
So my mom gets followed by people.
Yeah.
If I post a picture of her and she's on social, you know, my brother doesn't like my nephew on it.
Oh, yeah.
So like I respect all
It's
those
a
things.
weird
and
yeah.
some of my friends sometimes don't want it either. Like in LA, our friends are fine, but my friends back home, sometimes they don't like it.
Yeah.
Even if I post like a happy birthday to them.
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, fuck."
And it's not like you're trying to hide anything.
Yeah.
It's just like there's certain things you need to. We
that are
need
just
to.
for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm open. I'm like, I totally also believe in nazar a little bit. So I'm like,
Is that like
no.
karma?
No,
Or evil eye?
nazar.
Evil eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's like the Indian evil eye thing that
Someone's
you know,
casting a spell on
projected
you.
negativity. I'm not into that shit. So I'm like, I don't think people care about me being in a relationship in a positive
Yeah, I don't think
way.
people care either about me. It's just
I
a
think-
weird.
I'll be honest, for you, same thing, right? Like you have a lot of female followers. I'm sorry, they're probably not going to wish you the best. Or for your
Right.
girlfriend for it to work out. So
Yeah.
they're going to be like, what the fuck? He's in
Yeah.
a relationship? Fuck her. I hope she dies.
Yeah.
And same thing,
It's a
vice versa. So
I'm
like,
also like I have a tendency to like think ahead, project ahead, prepare ahead. So it's like a weird form of that too. But yeah, so sure, maybe. Yes.
So we're talking
kinda.
about introversion.
Go
I
ahead.
want to know why do you consider yourself an introvert? And do you
Because
think
it's
you've always been that way?
Yes, I think I've always been an introvert. I think I am an introvert, although I have friends who tell me
What does it mean to you?
they say I'm an extrovert introvert. So what I've come to learn is like being an introvert, it's like how you repair, it's like how you recover, I guess, like how you recharge your battery. I don't recharge my battery necessarily by being with other people. Not that I don't like being with other people, and not that I don't like having conversations, but they do drain my social battery.
Yeah.
And then I recharge my social battery by being alone and for long enough to the point where I want to get back out. So most of my time is spent, I suppose, in solitude. And then some of my time is spent with people. But I'm also like, I don't know if you're into astrology. I don't know if it's true, but
Are you kidding me?
I'm kind of curious about it. I think it's
love it.
interesting.
We love
I think it's interesting.
You know my dad's an astrologer.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Sorry. Uh, but I'm also a Pisces.
Oh. Water.
I'm a rising Sag.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm a moon, sun, Pisces. Your followers will care about that. Being a Pisces, I suppose you're a water sign, so you're very mutable and flexible in your behavior, in your moods. So I could be like, Natasha, let's hang out on Friday, and I could make that plan on Monday. And come Thursday, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm in the right headspace mood. It has nothing to do with you. It's all me. So my mood can fluctuate, and based on my mood, I will make plans and then either go through with it or not, which is not great all the time.
Yeah, because I could see somebody on the other receiving end of that being
But some people
annoyed.
get it.
Yeah.
They do get it because they also are the same way.
Is that because you've communicated it beforehand that, hey, sometimes I'm like
I'm
that?
getting better at communicating because you learn about yourself, you learn about your own psychology, you learn about your own nature, and then you get the vernacular from some person or some mistake or some book or some this to then express it back. Again, the transparency, honesty thing is super important in those private kind of relationship type conversations. So I think also because I've made content about being an introvert, people kind of have either self-educated or have come to understand what it means to be an introvert and what it means to, I have somebody in my life that's like that. That's why they're like that. Okay. So once you start putting vernacular to things, people tend to be like, we as people just understand it. So when I can put vernacular behind my mood and why I am the way that I am, they tend to respect it at least.
And for listeners who don't know what being an introvert or extrovert is, I got you.
We should probably look it up, yeah.
Wikipedia.
Hell yeah.
I got this from
Good.
Wikipedia. It says, so it was a psychology term introduced by Carl Jung. And it says that extroversion tends to be manifested in outgoing, talkative, energetic behavior, whereas introversion is manifested, we're only talking about manifestation, in more reflective and reserved behavior. Jung defined introversion as an attitude type characterized by orientation in life through subjective psychic contents, and extroversion as an attitude type characterized by concentration of interest on the external object. So the simplest way of putting it, extroversion is the state of primarily obtaining gratification from outside oneself.
Right.
Introversion is the state of primarily obtaining gratification from one's own mental health. Mental life.
Yeah. Interesting.
That checks.
But like, Aisha, you consider yourself?
Oh, for sure. An introvert.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
I
Are we allowed to
myself,
curse?
Yeah, of course.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm definitely
So you get
an
it.
introvert.
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. We're both introverts,
Yeah,
but
we
we
are.
manifest in
Wait,
different
you're an
ways.
introvert?
I'm a super introvert.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
I think we
and-
discussed this.
Yeah, and like, but in so in saying that, that's how it just sort of manifests. But what do you think is sort of the biggest misconception about people that are introverts? I think you mentioned one of them also about like what it even means. I think sometimes people don't understand it's an energy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Do people think you're shy?
people do think I'm shy. I think I'm shy. I am
Do you
shy.
think-
But my shyness comes out as like, I think like, I have a lot of energy. So it comes out as nervous energy until I'm able to settle. So I feel more settled now than I did at the top of the podcast. But that's just a theme of my life.
It takes a minute.
It takes me a longer minute, I think, than most people.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, it takes me a little longer to break out of my shell. I'm like a late bloomer. So once I do, then there's no going back. Unless I feel you're not into it, and then it's like, okay.
You're like, all right. But that's not I don't think that's an introvert thing. I think that's just a human behavior. If somebody's like not vibing with you, then you pull back,
Yeah.
right? unless you're a narcissist. But
I do
Um,
think. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to generalize, but I think introverts. But I'm just projecting here. Have a. It's like a longer minute to settle
I think so too.
and to feel comfortable around the space, and to then feel like okay, you're not just trustworthy, but you'll get it. What I'm gonna give.
I've always thought of it like for me that I've never liked big parties. I don't never like big groups of people. So when I can go to them, and I obviously go to them a lot for our work
Yeah.
and and entertainment. You're always networking. You're doing all of that. But I've learned like I can sit quietly,
Yes.
and that bothers other people.
Oh, you know what a misconception is? Is when an introvert is doing that in public and a person says, "Do you not like hanging out with us? Do you not, you don't enjoy our company?" No, it has nothing to do with you. It's the fact that I can just sit here and observe what's going on around me. And that is the entertainment that I need. I don't need to actually participate. But people get offended when you don't participate, especially people who need noise in the air.
Yeah.
They need validation all the time.
Yeah, they
so-
need, it's like the ball needs to be rolling.
Mhm.
And that, the ball to some people rolls with noise
Yeah.
and sound. And I think for us, it rolls even in silence and thoughts.
Mhm.
And that's where that's where it's just more interesting. Anyways.
Aisha, what has been like a misconception for you?
Well, see, I can turn it on. I'm the type where I'm like, I feel 100% that way, but in my head, I like feel bad that I'm not participating. So I like will overcompensate.
Yeah, I do
and
too sometimes.
Participate.
That's
but
where
at the
alcohol
same
can
time,
help
it's like-
though.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That is actually alcohol helps a lot with that.
It really does. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not,
It
I'm
does.
not promoting like using alcohol to, but it's great.
Yeah, no,
The first high when it first hits,
Like
it is so, like I'm not even. It is pure.
top of the world.
It is. It's just like you have a long week. You're an introvert. You're tired, and you just have a sip of like a Moscow Mule, and it hits, and it just like it turns the switch on. It's beautiful. It really is.
I also know of your love for alcohol through your social media.
Yes, but I don't want to like paint the wrong picture.
You're not an alcoholic.
I'm not, but what I can be in life
let's hear
is
let's hear the
is a binger. I have a binging
personality
tendency,
Mm.
so I have to be very careful about that.
Mhm.
Do people ever think? I mean, you kind of said this when you're at a party, they think you're not having fun. I have found in real life, like when I'm dating, I've always had to tell people that I'm actually very quiet at home. So my family knows this about me. I go out, but when I come home, I don't speak most of the time. I am very
Yeah.
quiet. I like to have my chai in the morning. I literally wake up early so I can have silence
Yeah.
for an hour by myself before I can function in the world. I used to have a roommate who I love dearly, but she would wake out of bed, boom, she's
Yo,
on.
that's how
and I'm
my
like,
best friend is.
Talking to you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Was she like
Talks
wake
a
you
lot.
up?
No, it's just like as soon as I'm in the kitchen, it was
Oh,
like a
it's like-
conversation,
yeah.
and I'm just like, I
Right.
need
Right.
my hour. Just
Just shut up.
and but people always think I'm mad.
Yeah.
So that's my big thing. It's like even when I was in school and high school, people used to be like, "Oh, Tasha's kind of bitchy," but I was like, "Oh no, I'm completely happy. I just don't like smiling all the time. I'm not like a
Yeah.
monkey with a tin can around my neck,
Yes.
So I'm just like totally cool."
I
And then
feel
when
the
I've
same
dated
way.
people, I've had to say, "Hey,
Mhm.
I'm
I
not
get
mad.
insecure about
just
it, I
like
think.
to sit in silence."
Exactly.
Yeah. I think I get insecure. I think that's an insecurity of mine because I just feel like I'm going to be the boring one.
Yeah. Same.
I'm going to be like,
Mhm.
we have to, let's just stay in. Some people are into it. Some people are just like, I don't know. That's a weird like insecurity confession I would have to make
I feel the same
Do you
way.
find
if I'm
yours-
ever
No, that
in
makes
that
sense.
situation.
Mhm.
Do you find yourself attracted more to other introverts or extroverts?
I don't know. I think maybe, I don't really know. I think they're more extroverted, but they have. I think they understand like how to not
Mhm.
have to have a conversation all the time, and they understand. I am attracted to self-discipline and humility. That's and accountability. That's really what I am very attracted to. But in terms of extroversion, introversion, I think it would help just to have somebody that understands. Some people operate this way. Then we don't always need to talk.
I get annoyed by some extroverts. Like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it
yeah.
has to be a type of extrovert. I've
Yeah.
dated some and it's a lot. And then, you know, the ones that are fine to like, hey, you like to party. And again, I used to go to clubs all the time.
Right.
But for me it's like I'll go and then I don't want to do anything for 2 days.
Yeah,
You
same.
know, I'm like I will go and enjoy, but just leave me.
I can have
You know.
one day a week.
Yeah.
I can have one night.
Yeah.
But the next morning and then the day after, we're not. Yeah,
That's it.
Like
Yeah.
let's not speak
Choose
for
your
half
day.
the day.
Yeah.
yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Just chill.
Do you prefer sort of in that same vein then, do you prefer texting over
Yes.
phone calls or FaceTime?
I prefer texting,
Yes.
She's a big texter.
but I
Aisha.
also prefer FaceTime over phone call
Yeah.
Interesting.
if we're gonna have
If
voice
you're
involved.
like if you're in a relationship or dating somebody or your family,
If I'm
then
in a
it's like
relationship,
FaceTime.
I'd rather FaceTime.
Yeah.
I'd always rather FaceTime than talk
Where
on
are
the phone.
you at, Aisha, in that?
I'm the same. I'm texting over everything. However, definitely FaceTime over phone calls. Like I cannot stand phone calls. I don't know what it is. But
Although-
I like FaceTime so I can do other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I'm only focused on this one thing.
Also, I don't want to text my parents.
Oh.
I don't like texting my parents. It
What
feels
do you do
very
with them?
uncomfortable. I'd rather FaceTime. with
Yeah,
them.
I have FaceTime.
The way they use grammar and
That's
punctuation is horrible, and it's just terrible. And they don't know how to text.
Yeah.
My dad, like, you know how LOL is a thing.
Yeah.
He'll create his own versions of that,
No.
and it's just like I don't know what this means.
You're
It's
like,
just a bunch of letters.
He's like, but it means
Yeah.
right now I'm laughing at you, but
It's
later I
cool.
won't.
Yeah, it's so weird. They like try to be innovative and hip, but they're not.
Oh.
That's cute though.
It is nice.
My dad doesn't know how to use emojis, so he will send me like, but his use of emojis just fully switches the context of what he's saying. You know, he like once sent me a thing about like I had to fix my car, and he's like, "Be careful of the mechanic," and I was like, "Okay," and then he said, "Good, that's my intelligent daughter," and then he put a devil face, and I was like,
Nice.
I was like,
Is it the one
why
that's
am I the
smirking
bad
though?
one? Yeah, the devil smirk. And I was like, Dad, what? You're making it seem like I'm a bad for what? What? I was like, what's happening here?
That's weird.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
That's how he
he-
feels.
Yeah. I only FaceTime with people I'm like super comfortable with. So family and my partner. That's it. So
Yeah.
everything else is like way too invasive for me because I'm just like, I prefer texting.
Same.
And now I've gotten a little better. I do phone calls because all my family is away. So I talk to people in the car.
Oh,
That's my thing.
I can't do that because
talk
I
in the
can't
car.
multitask.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
gonna miss my exits, and I'm gonna.
Oh, I
That's
always
really
talk
bad.
in the car.
I'm horrible at
But
that.
like Bluetooth, guys, it's hands-free. It's all safe.
True.
I'm being a safe driver.
Yeah.
We have some listener questions for you, but before that, would, in your experience, have been like some of the pros and cons of dating an introvert?
I don't think I've ever dated an introvert. Oh, you mean
Like
me,
for
dating
somebody
me?
you, yeah.
What are the pros and cons
What
of
are
dating
the
me?
pros of that? Like,
Oh, there are no pros.
pros. Come on, there are pros.
So many pros.
What do you think are pros, Aisha?
I feel like we're super chill. You know, we were kind of talking about that earlier. I do think that we go with the flow a little bit better
Yeah,
than extroverts.
I think we're maybe it's also a Pisces things. What's your sign?
I am. What is my sign? It's a Sag rising, Leo.
Hell yeah.
sun,
Leo, you're Leo.
and Scorpio moon. So I also
How
know
do
that.
you guys all know this? And my dad's an astrologer.
Because it's like
And I don't know what any of it means.
Yeah, I
I just
don't
know
know.
I'm a
I just
Gemini,
yeah.
and
Ugh.
I maybe that's a
Ugh.
sun. Yeah, I know. Everybody says
wind
that. Get the
wind
fuck
signs.
outta
Am I
here.
right?
Air.
Air signs. Whatever.
out of here, everybody.
Yo, Geminis are the most
apparent-
charming people I've ever met. One thing I will say about
no,
Gemini
that's true.
women, though, in my experience, they're so charming.
You're very
It's
hilarious.
disarming. It's very.
Get out of here. But I'll say I don't know. This is where I always get messed up, and I can't believe it because my dad's an astrologer. But my moon is either Aries or Taurus, which makes more sense
Big
for me.
difference.
Yeah, because I'm very grounded and I'm very fiery. So like I'm
Yeah,
a
yeah.
very calm person, but if somebody with me, I see red. So, but I'm very calm in all the other times.
Nice.
Or I'm very passionate about like if I'm in if somebody I see is like literally getting picked on, I can't stop myself. I have to like be like back the fuck up.
Yeah.
And so in that way I'm very passionate about things. But yes, every time I say Gemini,
Yeah, you get that
it's
reaction.
Just,
It's a
people
thing.
either love or hate us. Somebody either got like
Yeah.
by a Gemini or fully charmed by a Gemini.
Right.
Yeah. I have nothing but nice things to say about Gemini.
He says as he rolls his eyes.
The introvert thing. Yeah, dating an introvert. I think we're also very intuitive. We can feel things in the air a little bit. We're a little more observant and we make for good listeners. So I think that's definitely a pro.
There's something about introspection too, right?
Yes.
Like we're very introspective. Like you just said, sometimes
I keep forgetting you're an introvert.
because I'm good at
You're good with
doing
people.
this.
It's that thing.
But
yeah.
I also plan nothing after this for the rest of the day,
No, that's smart.
so that I can chill.
Yeah.
I mean, I have
You have
work.
good social skills, which I do not have.
I mean, I've had to learn from
Yeah.
the business, but
Good for you.
Right.
but that idea of like you said that you think a lot about the future, even like you're and do you feel like this, Aisha, too? Like I think 10 times before I take a step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes people feel like I'm being really slow because I can't just be reactive.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's something to be said about maybe that makes you like a great producer because it like lends itself to the work where you have to think about all possible scenarios that could or couldn't happen that most other people are just going to be super chill about and it's like casual about, and you just can't do that because it's just not conducive to the work. But yeah, I do a lot of introspection, which helps with the self-awareness. Yeah, I do a lot of that. It helps. It helps with creativity as well. I mean, a lot of my ideas just come from me having conversations with myself. So I don't know if you guys talk to yourself,
Oh my
but
God,
I talk to
love
myself a lot.
talking to myself.
Yeah, I talk to myself a lot.
I hate when people, I've said that to some people and they look at me weird. I'm like, I literally talk to myself all the time. The second I'm alone, I'm just like having a full-on conversation.
Yeah,
Yep.
I do that. What I do actually is I know I'm doing this podcast interview and I will have I will do the interview in my head while whatever, taking a shower, driving, whatever. Which is why when you asked me that question before, I was like, I thought about that question already. And that's why I was like,
And yet your answer was still a
So long.
5-minute answer.
Yeah.
But you thought about it.
But
I
that's the answer you
appreciate
thought
that.
about.
yeah.
We have listener questions for you.
Oh boy.
So people were very excited
Mhm.
to have you. Firstly, do you do these often? Because I feel like
I used to do more, but I don't get asked that often. But I think
Really?
I like to be a little more, I guess, specific with it.
yeah.
Curate them a little more.
Yeah, I mean, we're so happy you did this because I feel like, a lot of people wanted to know a lot. So Aish, you have some questions?
I sure do.
We have some ones for your other episode, but this one's about introverts.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so first question is from Ellie, and she asks, "How do you even start dating as an introvert?"
Do you
I
prefer
don't know.
apps versus like IRL?
I don't do the apps anymore. I used to.
Because you don't need to. You just need DMs.
No.
Ooh.
That's another interesting conversation about fame and all that kind of stuff. But I won't give a long-winded answer.
You can. I'm just fucking with
No, it's
It's
fine.
a podcast. We can keep going as long as you want.
How do you date? I think if you could try. You just got to try a bunch of stuff. I guess it's like much more like the creative process. You just try a bunch of the apps work, great. If you meet somebody, great. If a friend can introduce you, great.
But
You
as
just
an
have to
introvert, does it feel harder to even like get into the game for you, or
No, not really. I think like, whoops. I think the introversion creates maybe some level of anxiety when we meet in real life, but you just have to do it. You can't like escape from it. You just can't. So you have to do the hard work. But I would say meeting people is actually kind of difficult, but I don't know where it's easy. I don't know what city it's easy to meet people in.
it's not? It's not
Right. So it's
anywhere.
just you're never gonna really avoid this. There's no utopia.
But everybody, and we've talked about this a lot on the podcast, that everybody will tell us that like dating in their city is the hardest. And
Right.
I have lived in 5
New York, yeah.
big cities in the world, and I'm like, it's hard everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the city you're in. It's just the way
It
dating
is.
is, because it's a very vulnerable process.
Yep.
And that vulnerability is not exclusive to a city. It's literally a human experience. So you could be a buckfuck nowhere and it feels hard because you're like, there's only 8,000 people here.
Yeah.
How am I going to find my one in this?
Yeah.
But then if you're in LA, everybody's like, it's too many options.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with that.
Mhm.
So it's hard. But I think some introverts might struggle with like how to even put themselves out there.
Yeah.
And you're saying you just gotta do
You
it.
just gotta, I don't know. There's no romantic formula about it. I think you just do it. If you have a desire to be in a relationship, then you have to do the work to get it. And I feel that way about anything. If you have the desire to do it, then you do it. It's a very sort of kind of attitude. And I do believe in you should not compromise though. I would rather be alone for the rest of my life than just be in a relationship just to say I'm in a relationship.
Right.
Mhm.
So I'm okay with solitude.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had literally resolved to that before I met
Yeah.
my partner.
Mhm.
Fully, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna be alone, and I was like very content and like,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm happy just having sex.
Yep.
Like, we'll be completely fine.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it's hard for a lot of people. But I like what you're saying, that if a relationship is what you want, you got to just do the work
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
What else we got?
Yeah, this one is kind of in the same vein from Mary Beth. She says that I'm an introvert who is trying to meet new people and casually date. But how do I
Casual
not
date.
right? But how do I not get burnt out? from dating?
Nice. You just take a break.
Right.
Just take a break.
Mhm.
Just listen, and then you take a break, and you take a break, and then you get back in.
And that's it's such a simple but hard concept for
Right.
people.
You know,
right?
all these people know the answers already. They don't need. They're not looking for answers. They're looking for validation.
What is the validation? Just that their
You just want
experiences-
somebody else to be like to repeat the answer you already know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that you think you're just not crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's not like dating is a process that
But we all need it.
100%.
Yeah.
Men especially. Ooh, did I just go there? No, I'm sorry.
Fuck man. I love it.
Yeah, people just think that you have to get like you're on a train track, and you're not on a train track. You're driving a car, and you could just press the brakes and you can pull over on the side and get back on the road if you're tired. And you're not just like going at hyper speed.
It's your choice, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
think
like
would
that
work.
simple answer.
Right. Because like I feel like it's taught and hammered in that it's a numbers game. So you have to keep going and going and going and swiping and swiping. But like you guys are saying, like you need to
Yeah.
stop to stop. It's okay.
It's hard to match for a
Take a
guy,
break.
though. I feel on the apps.
You think so?
That was my experience, at least.
As
Like
in
when you're
guys
swiping?
have a harder time.
Yeah, I just
mean,
feel like
it
every
is.
time I saw a woman swipe, it just match, match, match,
Mhm.
match. I don't know what that's about, but
I mean, I think this is a very universal thing to say. I think women in general tend to get more attention
Yeah.
than men do.
yeah,
And that's just
that's how it is.
sometimes you just got to accept that
Must
that
be
is
nice.
the one time you don't have the upper
must
hand.
be nice.
Listen, it must be nice to make $1 to every 75 cents we make, okay? No, I'm kidding. Sorry, I didn't mean
Most
to
of
go
those
there.
No, I
Sorry,
mean
we
that's a
gotta take
serious
That out on
thing.
you, but
But it's a serious thing. Next question.
Next question is from RosieBlue.chew.
Ooh.
And Rosie Blue says, although good communication on both sides would improve a relationship, what do you think happens when one partner is an introvert and the other one is not? I guess as far as like communication.
Are you saying introverts don't know how to communicate? Rosie Blue with a shoe? That's hardly the case.
It's a
Styles could be
misconception,
different.
right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's
It's a
probably
misconception. I mean, you and I off mic have talked about this that that like we need to explain to somebody how we are so that they understand beforehand.
But who doesn't? So at the end
Good
of the
point.
day, everybody's got to learn how to like express their own psychology through like their words, which is a skill you don't get taught.
Sure.
I used to tell every guy I dated that I don't like cuddling. And I had to tell them in advance so that afterwards they wouldn't, one, try to cuddle me, and two,
Nice.
like get offended
If
that I can
wasn't
cuddle
like-
for maximum 2 minutes and then I turn the opposite direction. I can't even face a person as I'm sleeping. It has nothing to
Nice.
do with the person.
It's not you, it's me.
heat. I don't like heat at night. I like to feel really cold. So even though I put 3 blankets on me, but I like the
No, but
idea
that's
of,
what
and so I face outside. I'm like, I've just been like that since I was a baby.
Smart.
Has nothing to do with you. But I'd have to tell people that. So you
Smart.
got to tell people that you're an introvert
Yeah.
and I need some time alone.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Next question is for Joe_James95. And Joe James says, as an introvert, how has it been to go back to dating post-pandemic lockdown? Do you think that anything has changed in the dating scene post that time? Yeah.
I don't think anything's really changed.
Nothing?
You don't think so?
What's changed?
But maybe for you, your entire
yeah.
experience is like you
Well-
prefer it online. Like do you prefer it on an app? Like was it different for you in terms of
I was thinking more like the physical space of dating, like
yeah.
being in front of somebody. I mean, I guess people know me from my content a little more, so it's like there's an icebreaker there, I suppose.
Do you prefer people who didn't know you from your content?
It doesn't really bother me, I don't think.
I like
it doesn't
when
bother
somebody
me.
doesn't know my.
Yeah, I
Is it
don't-
not like
It's nice.
I like when somebody's supportive of what I do, but not
Yeah.
like
Yeah, no, right. So the support is nice. If they know, I'm not offended when people don't know me. I do prefer it. I don't take offense to it. I don't think I ever will, hopefully. So yeah, I don't know.
Could you do what Kevin Jonas did and marry a fan?
Maybe.
Right.
Depends what kind of fan.
Yeah.
Kevin Jonas's wife was like Danielle Jonas was
Was
a big
she?
fan of his.
Oh,
They
wow.
met at a show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Anything's possible.
Yeah,
She locked that down.
she did. She did well. She did well.
For her.
She did well.
Love that. Okay.
Oh, these are some fun questions.
I
These are
know.
not introvert related
Yeah.
necessarily.
Okay.
It's a little bit more personal.
Oh God.
Which I know you love.
We just went on a whole 5-minute rant.
I know.
So he's definitely gonna answer these. Okay, sorry. Fumbling through 40.
Oh,
I
nice.
like that.
These are all IG names.
That's
Lovely.
a good one. What values do you look for in a partner?
Self-discipline, humility, accountability.
Feel like you thought about this a little before.
Yeah. I think actually one thing I've learned is like.
Why do those matter to you also? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine. I think part of it is because it's what I was raised on. Part of it is a life philosophy thing of how I don't believe in people are entitled to things. I don't believe people deserve things. I believe everything that you want, you must go get and you must go make into reality. And so people who understand that are attractive. And then when they're women, it's attractive. And then also I've come to realize that like I was saying, I was like, I'm a bit of a late bloomer. It takes me some time to settle. I think in terms of feelings, I have no problem expressing my feelings. I think the hesitation sometimes comes from whether I'm being listened to and understood and going to be given the space to like, I think things out loud, especially when it comes to my feelings and if I'm trying to figure out why I do something and why I operate a certain way, I need to say it out loud, probably in front of you. And I'm probably going to say a lot of weird stuff that makes no sense, but you have to just give me the time to like find the essence of it. That's basically how I, to some degree, operate. And so people who have an extreme amount of patience, I suppose, and understanding that, or empathy, can understand that because they, to some degree, relate to it, or they've at least observed it, and it's a vibe thing. Like they say, oh, he's working through something right now. Okay, just give him don't corner him. Just let him talk his way through this kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You need a good listener.
I don't like to be cornered. I have no problem. I mean, it just like, even if I look at my like childhood and stuff, I don't like to be cornered.
In what sense?
To share.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what we were talking about before of like introverts. People think that, oh, you don't like our company. So Natasha, what's your favorite? So they try to wrap you into the conversation. I hate that. I have no problem being a part of the conversation. I have no problem telling you how I feel about something or this. But I can't feel like there's like a hook.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can see through. One thing I'm able to do is see through the sort of guise or like the social like things that we do as people, like small talk. I just know this is small talk. Okay, this is small talk. So I know you're asking me the question because I know your eyes just look that way because you saw somebody else walking. Okay, so you're not really
paying attention.
Right. And that doesn't bother me because I kind of do the same thing. I'm a person, right? Mm-hmm. But I guess from a partner, it's just that's just not going to work for me. Even any sort of intimate relationship, like
small talk is really hard for introverts.
Oh
right?
yeah,
I hate it.
I hate it.
It was one of the things that like when I was dating, I would always just like the conversation would suddenly just get deep real fast because I just don't give a about the other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm always just like, yeah, tell me about blah, blah, blah. And somehow the conversation, and also I have no issues in sharing that stuff because that's the thing I care about. I don't really care about all the fluffy crap.
I'm so bad at small talk. It's probably so cringe to watch me do it. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw it in the beginning.
Yeah,
of this
exactly.
No, I'm kidding.
You saw when I like entered your house and like, fuck. Here we go.
No, we're good. You have one more question. We have one more question.
Yes, we do. And the last question is from Embersky79. And this is a great question. Embersky says, what moves you and keeps you going?
Oh, what moves me and keeps me going? Mm-hmm. Probably fear. I think I operate from, at least in terms of there's like it's all going to end kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's probably the creative life, probably.
Jay Leno.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Not fear necessarily that it'll end. His thing was he believes he sucks. So he works
I believe that
10
too.
times harder because he's like,
yeah,
there are people better than me.
There's so many people better than me.
10 times harder.
So
and he was always like on top.
Yeah.
Seinfeld, on the other hand, no.
Seinfeld is interesting.
He's a very, very...
He's very sure of himself.
Very sure of himself.
But he's an interesting guy. I don't know. There's... he's... yeah.
He also says that he's not...
He's never bombed. I think he said that too.
I mean, I always heard that he was very polished from the beginning, but he says that his comedy doesn't come out of pain.
Yeah.
Which is very rare because a lot of comedians. I mean, I will say
he is. Have you ever seen him live though?
No.
Oh my God, you got to watch Seinfeld live. Oh, he has an opening act. Great. But then when it's just like a different level, and you just see oh wow, this is just one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, and it's all like clean humor.
Yeah,
it's all like mundane observational stuff,
right?
And it's like it takes a bit of a sort of genius to make that funny because it is funny.
So what moves you is fear, and not him.
And not him.
He like Seinfeld functions from a different weird
I
place,
teeter on this very fine line between incredible self-belief and incredible self-doubt.
Yeah.
So I can come across as though somebody who doesn't believe in themselves because of what I tell you. But I'm not really interested in telling you what I'm gonna do because I just don't think there isn't always value because the other person's just not listening or it's just a circumstance and we got 5 minutes to talk about it and it's not gonna take 5 minutes for me to explain it.
We can take more than 5 minutes.
No, I'm just saying in like, social situations. So I can come across somebody who doesn't really think too highly of themselves in a way, but at the same time, I think at least enough self-respect and a good attitude to like get it done, to see what I, in my mind's eye. So I guess what moves me is a fear of not attaining my potential, but because I have a clear understanding of what it is. But some things have to kind of go my way a little bit. There's a little bit of luck factor kind of a thing. So, and then it's if I have the self-discipline to maintain it for the next, until I die, which is a long time from now.
Well, and you can pivot things along the way.
Yes.
How your self-discipline manifests, of course.
Yes.
Rahul, this has been really fun.
Thanks.
It's been great, like learning more about you. I think, and
thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Do some of that ASMR stuff. Go. Have a sip of water.
Mm.
Love it. We are gonna get so many clicks. I'm gonna make that just a separate video.
I don't think this does because it's got the cover on it.
Be.
You gotta like really scratch it. This is bad.
This is great. I really think, and I hope listeners,
I had a great time.
Candidators, thank you.
I won't ruin your outro though, so go ahead.
No, we're not done. We're not totally done. We have a segment called 6 Questions. We ask every guest the exact same 6 questions. It's kind of like rapid fire.
Yes, let's go. Keep that in.
Don't think about it too much. You just knocked over our mic.
Okay.
And you can't see him on camera right now. Maybe
like
if you can.
Sometimes I use these.
He is just freaking out.
We've lost him. We've lost control.
He wants that mezcal now.
The water's gone.
Water's done.
Shoot, let's do this.
Do you want? I have.
No, I don't.
Okay. Rahul.
Yes.
What is the first? Wait. Rahul. Here are your 6 questions.
Yes. Let's do this.
What is the first thing you notice about a potential partner?
Their feet.
Russell Peters right here. He's the same way.
Oh, really?
He has a foot fetish.
I
cover my feet in videos purposely because feet fetish people always comment on my feet.
Sense. Yeah, I can see how it is a creepy thing to comment.
I've had people be like, look at that crinkle in her leg. Like,
oh yeah,
something strange about it.
Like if they don't know
like,
you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I feel like. Yeah. Okay.
It's very common though.
Yeah, there's a scientific explanation for it. It's
what is it?
It's like there's a part of your brain that's like the sexual part of your brain, and then something about the foot is like very close. So when they can get simulated at the same time.
I have a traumatic memory around feet. Where I once went to a family friend's house, and the mom was sucking the toes of the dad in the living room and then chewing his toenail. And I was like,
I don't do that.
Old,
so
and I was just for me, I'm like,
it's sexual.
It must have been. I don't know what. I was 8, so I can't.
Right.
In the living room, but we just walked in, and then I was like, "What's happening?"
Okay.
It was very weird.
Interesting.
What is one deal breaker?
Like a bougie sort of like entitled attitude.
That's a good one. What turns you on?
Accountability,
Humility,
self-discipline. My dad would be so proud.
Rahul, what are one of your strengths and one of your weaknesses in relationships?
I think my strength is I'm a good listener. Weaknesses, I'm not always like that outgoing. I'm like very routine, so sometimes I'm not like. So if you want to like go out on a Wednesday, I'm like,
Right.
oh fuck, it's Wednesday though. It's like a weekday. Can we just go out on Friday? Because Friday is the kind of the night it's the weekend, you know. So sometimes I lack spontaneity, I suppose.
Fair. You're also working a lot.
Sorry.
Rahul, what is love?
How many people say "baby, don't hurt me" after? Everybody.
Yes.
Love. What is love? I think love is like a long-term commitment that you are not indifferent about, but you do have very light and dark feelings about. And you can express them without it coming across as though I want this to be over. You know. That's how I feel about it. It's just not like romantic. When I think about my work, when I think about people that I love and my family, I realize I don't have indifferent feelings about them. I just have strong feelings on both sides of the spectrum.
That was good. That was a good
Yeah,
answer.
that's a really good
Besides "I love you," what 3 words would you want your partner to tell you?
Let's stay in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very introverted
On
of you.
theme. We love it.
Rahul.
That was 6. That felt like more
That
than
was
6.
those 6 questions.
God.
Yeah, you did it.
did
You
it.
did it.
Whew.
Well, thank you so much
Thanks.
for being on the podcast and for
Had a pleasure.
doing this episode. How can everyone find you and your work?
You can find me at the same handle at The Real Rahul Rai on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Thank you so much for being on.
Thanks. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, you're still sticking around for another episode. Guys, we're also on social media. We're at Kinda Dating across the board.
I am at Aisha Says Dance across the board.
I'm at Natasha Chandel on Instagram and Facebook, Natasha.Chandel on TikTok. Thank you so much for downloading this episode. If you like something you heard, screenshot the episode and tag us on social media. We love to hear from you. And finally, I know it seems tough out there, but just try. Till next time.
Yeah, totally.
I hope you guys enjoyed that video and check out our next one. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe to this channel for more amazing dating, love, and relationship advice from me and so many expert guests. Follow us on socials. We're at Kinda Dating across the board. I'm Natasha Chandel, so you can find me too if you like. And join our newsletter on www.kindadating.com for lots of exclusives. See you soon.